What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Baker's DIY Lifestyle. So in today's video, we are going to be tearing down this old deck and replacing it with the biggest deck that we have built to date. And I hope that you guys will enjoy the video because we really enjoyed building this deck. And we're going to go through some of the things that we ran into, some of the things we did, and how we put this thing together. So the first thing you're going to notice here is if you look at the header of the old deck, it was a single 2x10 header spanning 12 feet, holding the entire weight of the deck. And you can see, since it wasn't a double header, this thing was not up to code by any stretch of the imagination. And the entire deck started to sag right in the middle. So if this would have been left for much longer, it probably would have collapsed at some point, and then the owners would have been in a much bigger problem than what they already were. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing tore out of the way. And you can see we are actually spinning the deck 90 degrees and putting our ledger board on the garage instead of the house. So one thing you'll see us do here is we will actually add a couple support posts to that ledger board because we aren't actually attaching it to the rim joist of the garage. You can see the difference in the height of the siding there. The garage is a couple feet lower than the bottom of the house. So we went ahead and added these posts, not really to hold any weight because we feel like we've got plenty of support screwing directly into the studs into the wall of the garage, but it will add plenty of support so we never have to worry about that thing coming loose or pulling away from the house at any point. So the way we went ahead and squared everything up was go ahead and measure out where we wanted our post to be in the center of the deck. We made some marks on these long 2x4x16s, and we used those to move our distance out. Then you'll see us basically create a little box to put that thing together. And sadly, I've lost some of this footage because it's been so long since we built this deck. So it's going to jump ahead here in just a minute, but you can kind of get the idea of what we did to square this thing up, and you'll see the finished product in just a minute. But once we have everything squared up, we went ahead and got our cement around our posts on the footers and really just started to put the deck together. So we built it one half at a time, and you can see we've got the first half here completely done. We've got our 6x6s built up with our angled support brackets, and we went ahead and went with the clamp style method versus setting the girder directly on top of the post. As of right now, where we live, this is still up to code. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the way this is built. And we actually added a few extra bolts going through it. So this thing has just as much support as it would if it was sitting right on top. I'm not worried about any of that at all. And we went ahead and continued on to the next half of the deck. So you can see here, measuring our height was really easy at this point because we took those 2x4s that we had holding up the 6x6s and used those to put our girders up on top. So that made sure our girders were nice and level. All we did was angle them with the house, make sure we had a perfect square going from the front of the deck to the back of the deck, and put our through bolts in so that we could go ahead and clamp everything down nice and solid and continue on from there. So the biggest benefit you will gain from doing a drop girder system like this is that you don't have to cut every single joist to make it fit in between your header and the next girder or your double headers, whatever you've got, your ledger board and your header. You don't have to cut every single board. All we had to do was cut one side of every joist so that it was square. We slid it up against the ledger board on the house, and then we let it overhang a couple feet across that center drop girder. And you see here we're using 2x4s, or actually 2x6s, in between that 6x6 post, and that is actually going to help keep our joist vertical. So you don't have to use joist hangers, you don't have to use anything like that. You can go ahead and lay the joist straight across, shoot the nails right into those braces going up. That way you know everything is solid, everything is going to be standing straight up, and you are good to go. And again, the biggest benefit of not having to cut is saving a ton of time. If across this deck we had about 32 joists, so that saved us 32 cuts going across. And you can see us here, all we had to do was lift them up into place, get the side against the house here, make sure that front half was even, and then wherever they land on the inside, you just let them fall. So right here, we're going to go ahead and cap the end of the joist. We shot all of that in to keep it all nice and sturdy. And at the end of the video, you will see another cap that we did right across those two girders, the split girder there, to cover that up. But as the guys were laying the deck boards, I went ahead and started working on our stringers. You can see I already had a couple of them put up here. But basically, you just cut your stringers, just figure out how many steps you need, do the math on that, cut them, drop them, make sure they're level, and then you can go ahead and start putting your treads on. So I always like to go about halfway down the steps, and that way I can kind of get them in square. If there's a little bit of warpage going down the steps, we can go ahead and correct some of that. And then once you get a few of the stringers on, you can just go ahead and lay all the boards all the way up. So again, here's a quick shot of the guys dropping these deck boards down. When you're building a deck like this, they go super fast because you just slide them against the house, screw them down, and you're good to go. Once you get all of your deck boards down, you can see us running the circular saw across the edge. So we drop a string line across the top, and that will give us our cut to make the edge of the deck boards even with our header on the other side there. We'll go ahead and finish the rest of it with a multi-tool, and then you can start putting up your posts. So again, we went ahead and put posts on the outside, ran through bolts through those, 2 per post, so they are up to code, nice and strong, and you won't ever have to worry about those posts falling down. But we went ahead and did that. Then we just did our standard 2x6 top cap, a 2x4 runner in between each post, and then our 42-inch pickets we just shot onto the 2x4 and down on the deck. So that's pretty much it for putting this deck together. There is a lot of intricate stuff on this deck, and if you have any questions about it, please be sure to put them down in the comment section below so that I can get you an answer and hopefully help you with your deck build. But pretty much every deck we build looks just like this. We kind of follow the same structure, the same methods. That way we don't have to learn anything on every deck. The only differences we have are the size, and that makes it really easy to do our quotes. We kind of know how long it's going to take us to build these decks, and they look really, really nice whenever we get finished. So now that we are to the pickets, I'm going to go ahead and give you just a little bit of knowledge on how to install these things the right way. So all you have to do is go between each one of your posts, measure out your center point, go ahead and put a mark on the deck, and use that for your first picket. So this is very helpful if you have 2 people. You can get away doing it with 1 person, but it will add a lot of time going up and down and just trying to hold everything by yourself. But once you have that center picket in the center of the posts, you go ahead and put a level on it. That way you know you can just measure off of that picket going left and right. So you'll see right here the guys already pre-measured everything, and what they did was put that level on the first post, and then we just go super simple and cut a little scrap 2x4 to use our space, because we know that code has to be a maximum of 4 inches. So anytime you're using a 2x4, you're at 3.5, and you know for sure that you are going to meet code whenever you're putting your pickets up. So your stairs are just a little bit different because you're not going to use an exact 3.5 measurement. You have to go off your stringer and the depth of your step to make sure you have them perfectly spaced all the way up the stairwell. So the best way we found to do it is to mark right on the stair where you want the picket to be, and then you can go ahead and level each individual picket as you go up. Just make sure it is touching that 2x6 top cap and it's level, shoot it in, and you are good to go. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The total measurement ended up being a 12 foot by 27 foot. We went across the entire back of the house, and the customer loves it. He's out there all the time. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more of this do-it-yourself or how-to content. With that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for checking it out.